What's up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. I'm here with my co-host Marshana Dahlia Spavento. Last night, 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, Season 6, Episode 10. We are all up in this season, and let's just jump right in. Today's a little special. Today's my birthday. First of all, thank you so much to everybody who has wished me a happy birthday today. Thank you so much for my co-host for the amazing present. Thank you, guys. I feel so special. I'm not big on birthdays. Let's just jump right in. Let's talk about Mike and Natalie. So Natalie springs on Mike that she scheduled a nose surgery without telling him, a surgery that he's going to be paying for. And she tells him about a week out that she scheduled the surgery. And apparently her friend Juliana was fully aware. They have been going through the process together. And so their communication is off. But this is nothing new. This is nothing that we're learning about Mike and Natalie at this point. But Mike is obviously upset because he, first of all, works that day. Second of all, he needed to know that his wife is having surgery because he's paying for it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I agree. But before I jump into like everything that's going on with this, I do want to take a moment because most of you who follow this podcast know that I live here in South Florida. And I just want to say that our thoughts collectively, George and mine, are definitely with all of the families who are missing people and loved ones in the building collapse, with all of the first responders, our governor here in the state of Florida, the mayor of Miami-Dade, the mayor of Surfside. Like, our thoughts, prayers, and well wishes are with all of you. And we love you guys so much. Back to Mike and Natalie really quickly. I almost hate to take time talking about them. It's just uncomfortable to watch at this point. Natalie is such a jerk. Mike is so passive aggressive. If she doesn't have a dime, and even if it is quote unquote her health, according to her, though I don't suspect that it might necessarily be her health, because if insurance isn't willing to pay for it, they've probably deemed that it's not medically necessary. But I digress. But even if it is your health, you have to talk about the finances. The number one reason why people in the United States of America file for bankruptcy are medical related expenses. And if this is something that is not dire, it might be necessary to say, I know you're scheduling it for X day, but I got to talk about the finances, because the worst thing is going into the hospital and then getting hit with that bill.
And Natalie is not thinking about the bill. She could care less how much it costs. It's what she wants. All right, so let's talk about Jovi and Yara. So 2 weeks COVID-free, Yara gets bad news from Jovi. This seems to be like a recurring theme. Jovi calls her last minute to say, oh, by the way, I'm not coming home. Like, this is a very recurring theme for their relationship. And not only that bad news, he also drops on a bomb that their lease is up and he needs her to move out on her own.
Well, it's not a bomb drop. They actually knew ahead of time that the lease was going to expire, and Jovi said that Yara did not want to renew the lease. So they knew it was coming up. The anticipation was that he would be home in time to help them move, which of course didn't happen, and which of course, as you mentioned, commonly happens with his job. The worst thing that Yara would want to do is to be married to a broke dude and have a baby with a broke person. Someone has got to work, Yara, and it is not you. Well, let me take that back, because I'm a stay-at-home mom like Yara is, so she is working, but her job does not provide income into the family in the sense that could sustain a household. She makes the household a home, and she is the primary caregiver to their child. And I don't want to negate that, because I myself, like I said, am a stay-at-home mom. That being said, I would have been Team Yara on this issue, because she is the one who's home for months on end at a time. She lives in a place that she likes to be in, that feels comfortable for her and her daughter, because there are months at a time that Yara is home. To me, it's not that big of a deal for Jovi to love the place, because he's not really there. I mean, if you scraped together all the time within a year that Jovi is at home, you might get 3 months, 4 months that he's home. The rest of the time he's away. However, because she did it in such a nasty, condescending, selfish, self-centered way, nah, Yara, nah. She showed no gratitude and no consideration for her husband. It would have been one thing to say, you know what, babe, I know you like New Orleans, but you're not even here most of the time. I really want a place that feels safe and comfortable for our daughter and for me. And I would have understood it, but because of the way she did it,
I actually agree. The way she went about it, and then what even made me even more mad last night, that wasn't even that, is when Gwen and her mother Gwen's mother came over to help her move, and Yara never even got up. She never packed anything. She never helped. And again, I'm not negating the fact that she was taking care of her baby, but I do want to bring up, because I said this last night, there are quite a few single moms who work 2 jobs and take care of the household and moved on their own without help because they didn't physically have anyone to ask. So it really irritates me the way she puts on her princess crown, and she just feels that nobody can tell her what to do because she doesn't have to do anything. That bothers me about her.
Yeah, it did. She comes across as very elitist sometimes, but you know what? Leave it to grandma. Jovi's grandma was giving it right.
Yes.
Don't take advantage. So you gotta love grandmas. They say whatever come to their mind.
I love it. And I feel like Yara's going to have a really rude awakening because Jovi's never going to change. Jovi is never going to be this amazing dad or amazing husband and amazing person that does everything for her. So the lifestyle in her mind that she's living, it's not the same lifestyle that is in reality.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about Angela. So Michael decided that he's going to stop taking abuse from Angela. And at that point, Angela said that this isn't the man that she wants to marry, and she thinks she wants to divorce him. Interesting. So when the abuse stops, the marriage no longer works.
Yeah, spoken from a true narcissist, right? Angela's narcissism is definitely on full display here. If she cannot be in control and dictate to him and abuse him, make him subject to her narcissistic abuse, then yeah, she's definitely going to leave the relationship. Because to even call it a relationship is kind of like toxic, because a relationship would be fair, equal, and balanced. And this is more of a dictatorship where she wants to have constant lordship over Michael. And she's almost like a cult leader, and he must worship her with cult-like fascination. Now, for Michael to say at this stage of the game that he is going to stand up to Angela, it is too late. He has really taught Angela that she can abuse him, and he will still be available to her in this dictatorship. So it's not going to work. The relationship is over, which I think is a good thing for Michael, because he needs to be free and he needs to heal from this narcissistic abuse that he's been subject to. And Angela, I need her to speak to a therapist. I think I saw on her Instagram page that she spoke to Dr. Drew some time ago. I didn't actually see any interaction between them, but Dr. Drew, I don't know if you did or didn't, but did you tell her that she has NPD, narcissistic personality disorder? Help me.
I agree. Angela could definitely take some counseling, some therapy, especially on relationships and love and dealing with other people and their feelings and making people feel validated. Angela does not have any understanding of making other people feel validated in a relationship. The only validation in that relationship is her. So I agree with you 100%. Before she dates anyone else, I really hope she takes a good, long, hard look at how she treated Michael and how the relationship could have worked if she actually appreciated and treated him like a husband and not like what you said, a peasant, a servant, whatever you want to call it.
Narcissists have no sense of empathy or how they make other people feel. So that level of self, reflection that you're looking for from her is never going to happen. And I think that anybody, if you've ever suffered from narcissistic abuse or been in a relationship with a narcissist, you kind of know you get to the point where you got to get to radical acceptance. Like, it will never change. And I think that's how narcissists continue, and people like Angela continue to pull people like Michael in, is because, they feel that the person like Michael in this case believes that things will change. It's not changing.
Not a chance. All right, guys, that's it for part 1. We're going to come back with part 2 and talk about Julia's crazy job interview and a whole lot more. So I'm going to put our Twitter and Instagrams at the bottom. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you live tweet with us every Sunday. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Marshana Dahlia. And next week is the 4th of July. We will not be getting a new episode of 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After. But everyone, make sure you enjoy your Independence Day. And whatever you do to celebrate, I wish that we could all be there with you as well. And again, thank you guys so much. And we'll talk to you guys real soon.